Welcome back to Day One Voiceover. My name's Robert Vienna, and this channel is documenting my journey into a new career into the voiceover business. Speaking of that journey, this is an interesting video to make because it is very much a difficult part of the journey for me right now. And for a couple of reasons. Now, I feel like I've been a little negative over the last handful of videos, and I don't necessarily mean to be that way, but every business has its ups and downs. And I promised to you guys that I would document the downs. So I'm very much in a down portion right now. And I say that because when I first started the channel, as you may know, I did it because I had some availability to jump into something like this. I've been unemployed for some time, and I figured it's the perfect time to jump into voiceover and try to start it as a new career. Problem is that got very real. And it's getting very real very fast because I've been unemployed for some time now. And I've been going through some interview processes, and the last couple of weeks, I've had a few back-to-back, and some of them required an intense amount of preparation. One of them required an hour-long presentation during the interview. And that's just interview number 3 of potentially 4 or 5 interviews for just the one job. And that's been taking up a lot of my time, a lot of my resources. Plus, it's October. We just put out the Halloween decorations, as you can see by the purple and the orange. It's kind of an homage to the fact that it is Halloween season officially. But that also means that I've been doing this for about 4 months now, and I'm approaching my 50th birthday. If you go back a few videos for me, you remember that I'm going into this journey knowing that I'm starting a new career at the age of 50. And I mentioned in one of my videos very specifically that by the time this career gets rolling, I'll be turning 50. And that's very close on the horizon here in December. And I don't know that I'm any closer to officially calling this a career, with the exception of a handful of jobs here and there. And so I've been pretty discouraged the last couple of weeks, even more so than I was with my last video. With everything that's been happening, with Halloween coming around, we're doing family things. I'm getting ready for these interviews, putting a lot of preparation into that. I've been able to put in exactly 0 work into this voiceover business. And that's been frustrating and very discouraging. If you look at the timestamps on these videos, between this video and my last one was the longest amount of time that I've had since I started the channel. Now it's just 2 weeks. I don't know, that's in YouTube world that that's really a long time or not, but it was for me. And I felt disconnected enough from it that I even started contemplating if I was done with it. Am I out of ideas to even record for you guys? So I wanted to just sit down, first of all, and tell you that. You've also known my struggle with Fiverr and not being able to get much work from it. Well, someone requested a sample from me here recently, and I decided to go into the booth and record that sample, which was the first time I turned on the microphone in some time. And I realized, yeah, I still want to do this. I still want to do this. I still want to communicate with you guys. And I used that as my warm-up to just sit down and start recording this video. And I want to do it as a follow-up to what I did last week. Last week I spoke about the websites that I'm going to be trying outside of Fiverr. Now, I know I just mentioned Fiverr, and that's great. Something finally came in, so I'm going to address it, but it's not necessarily my priority. My priorities going forward are going to be voices.com, Voice123, and VO Planet. Now, I've learned a few things about those websites, though. And based on what I've learned, I think Voices.com is going to be the priority of those 3. Voices.com is great for getting some requests and getting invites for auditions and then submitting them. And then hoping they review them and they shortlist you and then hopefully eventually pick you for a job. But you don't necessarily get penalized for submitting work that isn't necessarily your top quality work. They just simply don't pick you. Not that you necessarily want to use someone's job, someone's real project for practice, but that in essence is what it ends up being for someone in my position. Voice123, I've discovered, not only from feedback from you guys, but from kind of doing some outside research. It's something that you want to be very prepared for. You don't want to jump onto Voice 123 and then just start submitting auditions and hope that something sticks. Because for the amount of auditions that you send, if you don't get enough likes and thumbs up and things like that on that website, it starts to rank you way down in the algorithm. And I don't necessarily want to do that. So the feedback that I've heard from Voice 123 is that you really want to be ready. Don't jump on Voice 123 if you just want to start going for this and see if it works for you, because you're never going to get anywhere. Be ready, be prepared, have a decent studio set up, have good equipment set up, because if you get to the point where they want to do some kind of Zoom presentation or Zoom meeting or Source Connect so they can listen to you, see your studio and all of that, then you don't want to show up with a USB microphone and then lose some credibility. And VO Planet, from what I understand, is one that's a bit tricky to nail down the algorithm. So I'm going to set that one aside a little bit, for now anyways, and focus on Voices.com. Now, a couple of things that I've learned about Voices.com is that they do have that paid membership, the tiered membership. The more you pay, the better auditions you get. But the lowest tier is $4.99. And I started this video by talking about the fact that I haven't worked in a while, so I don't quite have the means to just simply jump into that. So I'm relegated to using kind of the bottom of the barrel auditions to see what shows up there. And so far, what I see on there is not so great. I know I complained a little bit about what I get on Fiverr, and if I were to work the math a little bit on the jobs that I've been invited to on Voices.com so far, the math works out about the same, if not a little less. But again, that's a function of the fact that I'm not on one of the paid tiers of the membership. And I know that will improve once I jump into that. But there is one thing I wanted to talk to you about with Voices.com, a really fantastic tip that hopefully will help you if you are considering setting up a Voices.com profile, or have done so, but maybe want a little help on polishing it. Now, not that I'm any kind of expert or anything, but I want to jump onto the iPad and show you what I found. So you want to go to voices.com/leaderboard. So what this does, it gives you a list of who are the top performers on Voices.com based on the amount of favorites this past month, based on the amount of reviews this past month, recently hired, and new talent. So it's cool because this is a very recent showing of who's doing well, which means whatever it is they're doing on their profiles should lend to hopefully some form of success if you were to mimic or mirror, not necessarily copy what they're doing, but use these people as guides for how to set up your own profile. So if I were to just simply start at the top here, Andrew Latheron, not sure how to pronounce that, but as you can see here, this is what they have there. They offer different packages. This guy has 6, is there more? Nope, look at that. 12 demos. Is there more than that? Yes, even more. I don't think I'm going to go through all these. It looks like he has a ton of demos. And on the About talent, you have some really great information on how they're set up, what he said about himself. Tight deadline, I'll do my best to help. My average turnaround time is within 3 hours. That's impressive. I'll try and find some time in my day to deliver something in 3 hours once I start working full time. But he talks about the accents that he speaks in, the different categories, whether he does live directions or not, and he puts in his equipment. That is nice equipment, stuff that I cannot afford quite yet. I believe that 416 is a $1,000 microphone. I don't think I have $1,000 worth of equipment in the booth or even recording here. So we can keep going through here. Rachel West, and see her profile, different packages there as well. Demos, let's see how many demos she has. Wow. So it looks like these top performers have quite literally dozens of demos on there. So I've got some work to do if I want to compete. But as you can see back here, going to about talent, again, this looks pretty similar to what the other profile looked like. And the nice thing from what I'm seeing is that this looks a little less in depth than even Fiverr was. I had that great meeting with Brian at Ridgeback Productions to set up my Fiverr account, and it was super helpful and it helped me land my first job. But it looks like this might even be a little less intensive, but in the grand scheme of things, once I actually get into this, hopefully it will land me better jobs than what Fiverr has. So that's really all I wanted to show you. If you're in the process of setting up an account, if you're thinking about setting up an account, this is where you want to go. You want to go to voices.com/leaderboard and check out other people's profiles that are doing well and mirror and copy that and mimic that. So from that aspect, that's all I really want to show you with this video. I don't want to get overly negative about where I'm at with my point in this journey, but I want to be honest because it's very tough right now. I have a lot going through my head. I got a lot of worries, a lot of stresses, and I really don't have any traction with the voiceover business yet. But I'm still pushing through. I'm still going to do this. Having you guys out there and knowing that some of you guys are waiting for my next video is actually really, really, really helpful. In the back of my head, when I was thinking to myself, do I want to continue this channel? I can remember reading the comments of you guys saying, I'm sticking with your journey and I'm rooting for you. And that means more to me than anything. So I really appreciate that. I hope you guys stuck around to the end of this one. And let me know, do you have any other tips on how to set up a voiceover, voices.com account? Do you have any other tips, anything that's worked for you? If you're watching this and you are an established professional, any tips or guidance on how to stay motivated during these down times, especially when starting a new career? Open to hearing all of it. But as always, thanks for sticking to the end. Like and subscribe. Hopefully you're here for the next one. Hopefully the next one's a little more positive and have a little more great news to share. That's what I'm shooting for. That's what I'm aiming for. But until then, we'll talk soon.